And we're going to be kicking things off with the Indie of the Week.
Yes.
And this week, it's Anarchy Models.
Ooh.
So there's a reason for this, which will become relevant at the end.
Yes.
But Anarchy Models, if people are unaware, is a one-man band with Brian.
Yes.
And he does a variety of things. A lot of stencils, but we're going to actually start with the conversion bits, because I think this is something that people who know the name Anarchy Models are unaware of the fact that there are actual resin conversion bits as well.
I thought it was just the stencil stuff.
No,
That's kind of cool, yeah.
Because I was speaking to him of late, and I was discussing the fact that there is a modicum of bits and pieces in here, and I went, so where did these things come from? Where did the resin bits and bobs come? Who did these? And he went, I sculpted those. It's like, oh, really? Oh, you're talented.
just offhand, I sculpted these.
I'm getting mild 2000 AD vibes off this guy.
Could be. I would also give you Immortan Joe from the
yes,
Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
A whole range of Immortans. So, or very Warzone-esque with, like blood berets.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
So we're getting Immortan's extended family.
Yeah. I quite like the hazmat-y heads. So you can get mixed up with a variety of bits and pieces, or you can go full on unusual Tommy in space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
making your own Imperial Guard regiment. There you go. There's some options for you. So,
or I mean, if you paint those like some sort of creepy samurai mask / Gothic mask, and then you stick them on a bunch of World War One Tommies and use them in War Transformed.
So you could also put some slime effects on there and do it a little bit more nerdly.
You could do, yeah.
Very nice. These are all viable things.
Yeah.
And then that is, I'm hoping that's hair on the top, but I think it's some
not
sort of unusual.
It looks like some form of rough stitching.
Yeah. Gimp basket goo goo.
Creepy.
Why is there string through your head? I got lobotomized.
Yeah. I mean, it'll do them no harm in the long run.
Might improve some of them.
The infantry conversion weapons are nice. These are very good for any of your sort of low-tech steampunk type games, but also, as you can see there, orcs.
I love the scrap guns.
The scrap guns with a very German feel to them. So big, chunky Lugers, Mausers, the MP40s. I mean, they're just delightful.
I want these for the Doomed.
Oh, yeah.
Flawlessly in there if you're wanting to take some fantasy miniatures and gun them up. These would be perfect.
I was kind of looking at the infantry conversion heads and going, well,
a little bit doomy,
because I've got my project going.
Fair.
Yes, you have,
They're pretty nicely detailed as well.
Yeah. Nice, clunky, chunky bits of resin. Because when you're slapping stuff onto Armageddon-esque warriors or orcs, you don't want anything fiddly. They didn't go in for fragile.
Yeah, you don't need delicate filigrees or anything. Just pipe, puts bullets out. Jobs are good.
Yeah, you can see there. That pistol is 2 centimeters long.
Yeah.
It's a big pistol. Wow. If you don't hit them with the bullet, you can always club them to death with the butt of it.
Exactly.
I'm sure I can convert that just to be like an arm extinction on someone. Oh, I've lost my hand. Here, have gun.
For aliens, mutants, and larger creatures.
Also, if you want to do some sort of weird orc hand solo, it's a perfect gun from there. Stick a sight on the top and off you go.
He cropped first.
And yes, I know it's not based on the Mauser, but nobody's getting that gun in the orky version.
Oh, I like the MP40-esque one. It's very nicely done.
I mean, it's an unusual, I'd say it's an unusual take. When you see things like the Storm Boys, who always used to look like World War II Germans anyway, the fact that somebody has come along and went, you know what they need? Massive orky versions of early 20th century German pistols and machine guns.
I mean the orcs have always used stick grenades.
Yeah.
So they've got some of the kit.
Like I say, they were based on the World War II Germans. So it was only a matter of time.
Yes.
And I'm glad somebody did it. The final bit in the resin versions, away with you, is also the biggest. Shay will like these. You ready, Shay? Easy,
okay.
Easy, Tiger. So these are big chunky bits that can be used to make alternate tanks, shall we say. And if I start with that's the main body. Weirdly, it doesn't have tracks. Can't see any tracks anywhere on the site. You may either have to scratch build the tracks or subsume the tracks from another kit. But
do some 3D printing or something, maybe. Yeah.
That is a huge, big,
crikey,
chunky fella. So that's 13 centimeters long, almost of resinness. It's big, it's brutal, it's lovely, and then you stick this not KV style turret onto it. And go, yeah, boo, sucks to you, Britzy.
Oh, there is a snub nose version. That's fine.
There is.
Because the long barrel is heresy.
The trash can firer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to put all my love into one shell and send it your way. I mean, that's a big, clunky bit of kit. But, I mean, for anybody playing, certainly 40k, but anything of that ilk.
Use it for a bit of Conflict 47.
Conflict, yeah.
See, the nice thing is you can get these separate and just do them as like pillbox turrets.
Yeah, you can do that as well. Yeah. In fact, if we go back to this, these little doodads here are actually turret ring converters. So these turrets, all of the tank turrets that are in here will fit on 4 different size turret rings. So depending on the company you're getting them from, I think the small one used to be the standard for Forge World, the 4.5 mil. Obviously the 25.5 is, I think, the GW standard for plastic kit for like a Russ type turret.
Yeah.
And then the other ones are in between. So you'll find that these will fit with a variety of sci-fi tank kits. With those, anything outside of that, you may have to do some extra bits of modeling yourself. But
I would just sink that turret ring into a bit of terrain and just pop that on top.
And then there's something more Van Squisher or Demolisher based.
So yeah.
I
like it.
I don't know why there was the high pregnant pause there.
Yeah, no. I was looking at it going, is it that? Yes, it's that.
Yeah, very much that.
Different enough to be different.
Big rifling. And then a light tank turret. Again, with the little widgety bits.
Enough to make a big boom.
Yeah. And it's interesting because, like I say, a lot of people are aware of the stencils, less aware of the resin conversion parts. And like I say, I was talking to Brian, and he was saying this is something he's going to start looking into more and getting back to increase this section of the site.
Oh, brilliant.
Because obviously with the rise of 3D printing as well, there may be the potential to do things in the way of STLs that people print themselves and not have to worry about the resin production on his end. Talking about stencils, there are 2 delineations, HD, which is the high definition, and these are proper modeling stencils insofar as people are aware of them. They're sticky. You stick them down, you sit with a little burring tool, and then make sure it's all perfectly flat so that things aren't getting underneath. And then you get a very crisp line on them, so you can get things like the hex camo. You're not going to get embigulated for me, are you?
I mean, years ago, Brian was across with us and did a ton of videos on these. They work really, really well.
Yeah, and they're all still out there. So you've got everything from modern camos, so the likes of the digital camo.
Yeah, that's nice.
And then obviously a lot of World War II stuff as well. I mean, that digital camo is great.
Gorgeous.
It's something that I would never do, but I appreciate something. Well,
and made easier by the stencils, I guess. Really. Yeah.
Well, I'm sure John will probably look at this and go, "Oh, why couldn't there just be one for the Swedish camo?"
Oh, we discussed that. And John went, "No, the amount of time it would take to stick on, and then paint one, and then peel everything off when it's dry, and move it to the next one, and it's actually more time consuming. Fine for a one-off, but when painting 40 odd vehicles."
Well, the thing I always remember with these is that it wasn't put it on and peel it off. It was put a layer on, put the next on, and then put the next on to actually get your effect.
Yeah, but then you have to peel all of those off and move it to the next tank, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Or you buy 50 of them and do all the tanks in one go. And that at that point, what you make up on time you're losing in the several £100 worth of stencils that are identical.
True, but you will get a very, very clean effect off this. I think it will be worth doing if you're willing to put the time in. I think the effect you'll get off this, if you don't have that skill set yourself, well worth it.
I'm not arguing over the stenciling. I'm just saying for the amount of tanks he's doing, Justin. He's doing like 50 tanks.
Yeah, that's a John problem.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, there are also a whole variety of World War II German ambush camo patterns. So you have the sort of disc style camo, and this comes in a couple of sizes actually, because they do it in 2 and 4 mil spots. I have a set of these disc camo as well.
So you can match it to the tanks that would have had the appropriate.
Well, it's very loose when it comes to the Germans. There's you can do it as much or as what. Yeah, I mean you could do an entire platoon with it, or just one off vehicles or whatever.
Yeah, I mean,
was it just a case of them experimenting with camo?
They were literally handed pigment blocks and went here.
Right.
Some stuff was applied in the factory, and in late war it was. Dilute these pigment blocks down in diesel and then paint it on yourself, and some just slopped it on with a rag on the end of a stick, and some went into very intricate masking and airbrushing and stuff, and it
depended on the tank crew / engineer that could be bothered.
Honestly, one of the weirdest ones I ever saw, someone actually camouflaged, I think it was a Tiger tank in black and white.
Wow.
And this was not in like winter tundra, this was in like Greenlands. And they had it parked underneath a tree. I remember seeing a photo, and it really worked stupidly well.
That would be unusual.
Steampunk cogs, that's nice.
Yeah. Moving into the more the sci-fi weirdness, you've got
the whole kind of diesely, punky, steampunky stuff that we saw with the guns and things.
There are a few of these in here where if you're doing sci-fi, you can kind of really go off-piste, away from the sort of the standards into a whole.
Wow.
Madness. Yeah. So things like there's your classic digicamo, and then there's
pinups
versions.
There's a whole slew of weirdness.
I know Brian's putting these all onto like vehicles and stuff. I would do some of these on buildings.
Yeah, you could do.
Yeah, if you want. Once you got the stencil.
I think you can get some cool effects.
Yeah. Wow.
Ooh, the angel wings are
very
beautiful.
Nice. It's very good for dangles players. Dangles and bangles, in fact. both flavors of angle.
I like that with that playing with all the pinups on it is where all the Bond girls have gone over the years. They're all just trapped in the mirrorverse of that play.
Oh my word! Can you imagine?
So secretly, James Bond really is the villain.
Yeah.
We always knew this. But yeah, so there's a 1 mil version of the ambush camo spots, handy for the old 15s.
When you get even smaller.
Which is always cute. Anyway, so the HD system is for people who want really accurate, crisp results.
Right.
If you, on the other hand, either don't have the time, don't have the inclination, or you have something that's a little bit more intricate of a surface, things like big creatures, gribbly monsters, that sort of thing, or weird shapes that you often get in sci-fi, then these HS, or the high-speed stencils, they're the way to go. And you can see here there are some versions of the HD have been redone in a similar style for the high speed. So these will not give you the same super crisp definition. You'll get it, but it'll sort of fade out as you go through them. But in many cases, because I was asking, did he just take the original HD sticky stencil and then just go, I'll just cut it again? He was saying everyone had to be more or less reworked to make them work in this. Some of the scales and the diamonds, fine as is, but the more intricate patterns and designs wasn't as simple as just transferring it straight across, because they just wouldn't work in the same way.
Okay.
It's also the reason why you won't get every stencil in both sets. Some of them are just impossible to actually produce in this fashion. And these, over time, there have been multitudinous versions So you can see things like the cyber circuitry and the creature features.
So
I really
nice.
like the creature features. I've done
the creature stuff's really cool.
I've done a couple sets of trolls for Kings of War using exactly this.
I love the fact
brown
you get that feathered effect as it's working out. Because you would be hard pressed, I think, to try and do that exact effect with the high definition ones.
Mm-hmm. That's really nice.
Is that a fishing lure?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a whole section on lures. The exact same stencils and same principles are used for them. So you know, you can see there, use a section and then overlap it and work your way back to get the sort of the overlapping. It's a very good way because there's an awful lot of hard plastic models out there these days where they don't really do much detail on them. You know, especially creatures and the like, they're just big, flat surfaces. So sort of using stencils to build a texture onto the back of them is good.
Well, I was thinking about, I've got a friend who's painting up cave trolls and stuff for Middle Earth. And when I did my cave troll stuff, I did the blending between the dark and the light for the various tones of the skin. But then, as you say, you get to the point where you're like, well, actually, I kind of want a little bit more detail there. And so using something like that to give that effect breaks up the lines a little bit and also kind of helps hide some of the work that you might have done badly with the wet blending as well, potentially. Certainly in my case. But
this is an interesting one. So even though it's theoretically used for veins, so on the inside of wings, so when you're painting your void lurkers, well, actually, no, void lurkers got enough veins on it. When you're painting your dragons, you can do little sort of occasional vein popping through or showing.
Yeah.
One thing that Brian was saying, somebody had posted a load of pictures of Chaos Knight something. I can't remember. Anyway, their armor is all lightnings, dark blue with lightning, and apparently people have been using this to do that lightning flashing on the vehicle and on the armor because it saves having to hand paint it.
This would be good for doing lava bases as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just where you see the cracks popping through.
Yeah.
So there are a absolute bucket load of these, and they, like you were saying earlier about buildings, there's a whole slew of them that are just there for doing, you know, danger dead inside type of things on them.
You see like the negative hexes there, you could do like splashes of that as if it's like an energy shield on the building.
Yeah. Again, that I've got a dragon with that on it. Oh, it's too far away and I can't be arsed. It's true.
That sounds like Jerry on a Monday.
I'll also say that in many respects, there's somebody else mottling his lures. In some cases, it's much easier to put it on in certain circumstances. So there it looks great. I also attempted to do it on the inside of the wings. Less great, you know. So it will come up often in videos, but sometimes you just have to cut your losses. You work out where the stencil is best put, and if it's not going to be easy to access it, then maybe don't.
Also, you're going to see the outside of the wing a lot more than you're going to see the inside. So,
and that was something I wish I'd thought about at the start. But I'm not that type of person. So yeah.
Hello, Harlequin patterns.
Yeah, the Diamond Rain and the Diamond Fade for all you Quinzel fans out there, because they're always good for a laugh.
I like those. Yeah.
Say my name.
My name.
So yeah, like I say, this has built up over several years now. Brian's, I think, run 3 campaigns to put together the original HD stencils and then the high speed ones as well. And this is why I was saying this would be sort of coming back round to another update, because he's actually been over with us filming for a new range of the high-speed stencils, which will be, there'll be 4 videos, not just showcasing the stencils, but also Brian's going to be going through showing you how to use them.
Brilliant.
And there are some really fascinating ones. That one there, the coconut crab. Which is something that I'd seen Catgut do ages ago. I went, that's a really nice design. I should do that on some of my crabs for Kings of War, for my Trident Realms. And it's like, it's an awful lot of effort. What if I just glue my crabs together and then leave them sitting in a box forever? But now there is a range of stencils coming.
Yeah. I mean, my favorite one is the curved diamonds that he's doing now. So instead of just the straight lines of diamonds, he's actually got it on the stencil where there's a curve into it. So as you apply it, you can actually get a nice flow through on how it's sitting on the panel.
It looks like one of those surreal Magic Eye pictures. Come trip.
I really like that one.
It's exciting.
It's head frying. So I think from next week. Yes, from next week. There'll be videos coming out from Brian showing off some of the new stencils and how you can use them as well. And then really a lot of it comes down to how you want to use them, because there's so many there. And while it says, or it shows them being used on tanks and bits and pieces, you just have to go, well, what if I do this? Like the people who went, what if I use the dragon veins as a lightning bolt on my Space Marine instead?
Night Lords.
Night Lords, I knew it was night something, but all I can think of these days is Night Stalkers.
Oh, right. It's because they're in your brains.
Jerry has been trapped in the world of Mantica. Someone please go save him.
No, I'm fine here. Don't worry about it.
Leave me alone.
Leave me alone. I'm happy.
I have made my choice.
I'm paddling in Panathor, and it's amazing. Except when that massive swing to evil happened during the campaign last weekend, which I was not expecting. Right. Anyway, so yes, Anarchy Models. Like I say, range of stencils, cracking. The conversion bits, very interesting. And I'll be fascinated to see where they go next.